And welcome back to the Rambling Men Sports Podcast. James could not be here this week. We had some scheduling conflicts, but I got my boy Steven back. Uh, he's wearing a Cardinal shirt, but you're not coming on for baseball, dude.
I'm not. I'm expanding my horizons. I'm pumped up.
Yeah, no, but your Cardinals are still in the playoff hunt. They've kind of hit a bit of a snag.
We are still in. We are in the playoffs as of right now. I haven't checked the scores, so I don't know.
Didn't they just have a series with the Dodgers? That's a big one, because aren't those two fighting for the last spot right now?
Had one about a week ago. Yeah, about a week ago. And yeah, them and the Rockies are like the three teams fighting for the second wild card spot, and they're actually playing each other right now. So kind of comes out good for the Cardinals either way, because we just got done with a series in Atlanta. We took 2 or 3 from Atlanta, which was good. Would have been nice to have a sweep, but I'll take 2 or 3 in Atlanta every day. So
yeah.
we're in the hunt, that's for sure.
Yeah, which seems to be the case a lot of the time with the Cardinals.
Yeah, would like a division crown, but I'll get in the playoffs anyway. I can. So
how many games out are they from the Brewers and Cubs?
3 back of the Brewers, 5 back of the Cubs.
That's doable.
It's not bad.
Yeah,
and we have the Cubs once and the Brewers once between now and the end of the season. So things could fall our way. We'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. But like I said, we got you on not for baseball this time around. We're going to talk some football. It's football season, man. We got to talk about that.
It's football season.
We actually are in a fantasy league together, and we just played each other over the weekend. And you kicked my ass.
I did, in fact, yeah. Melvin Gordon, I think, was great. That
was the nail in my coffin. Was Melvin Gordon and Ben Roethlisberger scoring 75 points between them.
And Big Ben, yeah. I put together. I don't know how I put together quite the squad from the bottom of the draft there. So I'm pretty excited.
See, my team's not. I don't think my team's even that bad. Just there's injuries.
Yeah, I think you had some injuries and a little bit of inconsistent play last week. And
the first week was bad. Like, that was 88 points, and then Taylor, our friend Taylor, he had Alvin Kamara. I'm trying to think of who else. He had guys who had about 80 points between them.
Because who else did he have? Did he have Kareem Hunt? Or?
No, I have Kareem Hunt.
You have Kareem Hunt.
He has Alvin Kamara. Who did he have? Oh, Tyreek Hill was one.
That's it. That's the one.
They had 90 points between them. That's what it was. He had 50, and then Kamara had about 40. So, yeah, I was struggling.
Yeah, I don't blame you there.
Yeah. But anyway, so week 2 of the NFL, we're going to recap some stuff. We're going to start, I guess, with my Packers tying the Minnesota Vikings 29-29. Second week in a row we've had a tie in the NFL. I know how you think, Steven. I know you hate ties.
I do. Like, there should be a way for this not to happen.
I said it last week with James. This is America. We didn't tie with the British. We won fair and square. It's not how we do things.
Fights. Like, we don't tie things, except for maybe the Civil War, but that's kind of a dark part.
That's a funny, yeah.
But we'll gloss over that. Maybe Vietnam, but who knows? But yeah, I mean, every other sport except for soccer, and soccer's bullshit. But
actually, I meant to mention you just got engaged, so Mazel Tov.
I did. I appreciate it. Yeah, we're doing so horrible on our wedding planning right now. We're procrastinating bad. I haven't even set a date yet.
Who cares?
Going well so far. But yeah, real excited about that, obviously. But I thank you for mentioning it. I appreciate it. Yeah, there should be some way to figure out how to not tie in America's sport. It just doesn't make sense.
I think this is the only sport that ties, too. Baseball doesn't do it. Hockey used to. It doesn't anymore. What's the other one? Basketball doesn't do it.
And they're definitely one of the 4 major ones that does it. I just do a field goal kicking competition, do a punt, passing, kick. I don't care what you got to do. Figure out a way to end the thing with a winner and a loser. I don't like ties.
Yeah, it's funny you mention that. I remember sending this to Taylor a long time ago. like if you can't get it done within the first overtime, hockey has a shootout. What if you had like a field goal kicking competition that was a kick off or kick out, and you just kick field goals back and forth?
You can play a 7-on-7 for 5 minutes.
Yeah, they basically do that anyway.
Do something. Golly.
I will say this though, and I texted James this. I'm relieved with a tie. As a Packers fan, I'm relieved.
Yeah,
considering the circumstances, Aaron Rodgers on one leg, best defense in the NFL. Vikings were kind of getting hot there at the end. We kind of got away with a tie. I was walking away from that like, whew, I'll take it. I don't even care. I expected a loss. I don't care.
So I hate it for my man DC, Daniel Carlson, is probably the reason for the tie. And missing, 3 field goals?
Mm-hmm. 2 in overtime.
Definitely, yeah. And he's like a really good dude, and like I hate it for him. And he got cut this week, and so it's not a good look for the Auburn Tigers, but it sucks. I mean, ties are stupid. Like there's no two ways around it.
I will say this one more thing about this. I saw one person say, and again, I'm going to talk about Green Bay obviously because that's my team. But I saw one person say, given the circumstances Green Bay's faced these last 2 weeks, the fact they're 1-0-1 is a miracle in itself. Aaron Rodgers gets hurt. They're down 20-0 to Chicago, come back and win. They're playing the best defense probably the best defense in the league at home, and they're still 1-0-1 after that.
And that
could easily be 0-2.
Very easily could be 0-2, and I think that's a good. I feel like, and you might have some better takes on this, but I feel like that's a pretty good springboard for the rest of their season because you can't start off in much worse of circumstances and find a way to win or not lose a ball game.
Yep.
That's something that you can build on as a team.
I agree.
Forward.
I actually thought if you're a fan of either of these teams, I don't think you necessarily feel bad about where you stand, but between the Packers and the Vikings, I think if you're a Vikings fan, you have to be kind of worried if you have to, choose a team. I think you got to go with the Vikings because they're healthy. Their quarterback played very well. Mm-hmm. They should have won the game. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. They should have won. You could argue both teams should have won the game. But Minnesota had the healthier roster. They had the healthier quarterback. You could argue maybe even they had the better coach. I wouldn't agree with that, but
you don't say.
Yeah, you could argue it. But I think if you're Minnesota, you walk away from that going, man, I don't know anymore. Maybe we don't have a hold on this division like we thought because when they play in Minnesota, which is a tough place to play, but that's a few weeks down the road. Aaron Rodgers should be healthier. They'll get one of their better playmakers back, Aaron Jones, and they'll have 10 days to prepare because they play on Thursday night the previous week. So I think if you're Minnesota, you might be a little worried.
Yeah, losing to or not, at least not splitting with the Packers is not a good way to win the North. So I mean, you gotta think the Vikings we're probably the favorite coming into the season to win that division. Having a tie and then Green Bay getting healthy and getting, like you said, getting Rodgers back, getting Jones back, going to Minnesota with 10 days to prepare. It's gonna be a tough task, and we'll see if the Vikings are up for it in a couple weeks.
Yeah. I agree. I'm glad I wasn't the only one who thought that. But
yeah.
So next topic, we got to talk about Patrick Mahomes. We talked about him a little bit last week. Got to talk a little bit more this week. Dude's on fire.
He's slinging that ball.
Yeah, I mean, this is well beyond what I expected from him. I thought he'd be, might end up being a good starting quarterback. But this dude is lighting it up. What is it, 10 touchdowns in 2 weeks, I think?
I believe so.
9 touchdowns, it's something like that.
Something ridiculous.
And it's been 2 road games. He hasn't even played a home game yet.
Which, that he's going to be, with that crowd behind him in Kansas City.
Yeah, Arrowhead's like one of the top 3 toughest places to play.
Yeah. And they love their Chiefs and go nuts. So, he's going to be comfortable there. And it's going to be, they're kind of running a little bit of an NFL version of kind of a fun and gun, just throwing the ball all around the yard, and because they got playmakers out the freaking wazoo. We're talking about Kareem Hunt and Tyreek Hill just to name two. I mean, you got guys you can throw the ball to, and Mahomes that can get it there.
Yeah, this was a team. I said it with James in the preseason. Like if they figure it out and Mahomes gets it done, they're easily a playoff team. If he's good, they're a Super Bowl contender, and I think this team's easily a Super Bowl contender now with the way he's slinging it.
I agree.
One more thing with this. This is amazing. Mahomes was in the Big 12. Really wasn't one of the premier guys in the Big 12. He was like probably the fourth or fifth guy quarterback you probably heard about in the Big 12. And then he gets in the NFL and is slinging it, and he didn't do a ton in college. Just interesting.
Texas Tech, right?
Yeah. So I just think that's interesting. All right, so the Jacksonville Jaguars, to really no one's surprise, I don't think, stomped the New England Patriots. I actually had them winning that game, but the margin of, I think they ended up only winning by 11.
By 11, it's 31-20.
Yeah, but weren't they up 20, at least by 20 points at one point?
I think they were. I think they New England get some garbage time points or something. Yeah. I kind of stopped watching.
I think it was 24-3 at one point, and then they scored.
At least. Yeah.
But yeah, this wasn't really surprising. I thought the Jaguars would be a little bit motivated, letting that AFC Championship slip from them. I think they had this game circled all offseason. And New England just doesn't have, I think, the right personnel to hang with Jacksonville right now. Play the game in Foxborough in January, and things will be a little bit different.
When they've got Edelman back, Gronk's at full steam.
They're still figuring things out on the offensive line and the front seven, which still does not look very good. But one takeaway, though, is Blake Bortles was actually playing well.
Yeah, the boat.
We're both huge Barstool fans, so yeah, I get that reference. The boat versus the goat, according to them.
It's 1-1 now.
Yeah, 1-1.
Watch out. Blake of the year.
What's up?
He's the Blake of the year.
Blake.
He won the takey for Blake of the year. It's ridiculous.
Man. God. I love Steven. I better be invited to your wedding, by the way.
Oh, for sure. It's gonna be up in your neck of the woods, kinda.
Whereabouts?
It'll be in Knoxville, Tennessee.
I can make that trip.
So closer to where you are than Birmingham. So.
No, that's not true.
Is it really?
It's probably about right in the middle. Maybe a little bit closer to Birmingham. It's closer than I think.
Wow. That's surprising.
It's about 10 hours to Birmingham from Morgantown. So yeah, I'd probably say it's about right in between. It's probably 4 hours to Knoxville?
Yeah, it's about 4.5.
Yeah, so I'd say it's about 4.5 to 5.5 here. Yeah, about right in the middle. Is that where your girlfriend's from?
Yeah.
Or fiance, I should say?
Yeah. Yeah, she's from right outside of Knoxville, a little town called Oak Ridge.
Ah, okay.
So we'll get married up there, so can't wait.
You don't sound very enthused.
Yeah, we just got to plan the thing.
That's the bitch of it.
It is. We'll get there. I'm not worried about it. She, however, is becoming slightly worried about it, but
who cares? You got plenty of time to do it. You got your whole lives to do it.
Whole lives. I keep telling her that, and she just doesn't want to listen to me.
You got your I don't understand why do you want to get it? Why do you want to rush it? You got years. You got years. You got your whole lives ahead of you to do it. Whether or not you want to be engaged 10 years is another story.
Tell her that. Yeah.
Back to football. Back to football, please. Back to football. Fitzmagic. What's the deal? Not only is he balling out, he looks like Conor McGregor out there.
Dude, it was awesome.
Who the fuck is Jameis?
The post-game dreads he was rocking were incredible.
Yeah.
Who the blank is this man?
Who the fuck
that was awesome.
Who the fuck is Jameis?
But he's playing. Who the fuck is this man? He's playing. He's balling out, and we kind of talked about this too. That Jameis Winston might be kind of on his. I remember talking about with you. We kind of talked about. He's kind of on his.
I thought that before the season. And I thought they'd be 0-3, assuming they lose Monday night against Pittsburgh, which who knows if they will at this point. Pittsburgh looks terrible. Tampa Bay looks pretty good. But I thought they'd be 0-3, and there's a good chance they could be 3-0. And obviously, I think you roll with Fitz magic if you keep winning.
I definitely think you do. You don't. And what? Because Jameis is a free agent at the end of this year, right?
No, he's got. They picked up his fifth. They picked up his 5th-year option, but that doesn't. They can cut him and not owe him anything.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, and I thought he'd probably come back after 3 games, play the usual Jameis, and they'd finish about 4-12. Then they clean house, and I still think that's going to happen. I think at least they get rid of Jameis.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's looking that way. Especially with how kind of the Eagles' mindset is looking, they've got 2 quarterbacks that they trust to go out there and win a ball game. And I don't know if you necessarily trust Jameis to go out and win a ball game right now.
No, I don't trust Jameis. I don't trust that their head coach, Derek Cutter. I mean, even their front office hasn't been that bad, but again, you're going to be judged by who you took at quarterback, and they took a chance on Jameis, and it hasn't panned out, so you're likely going to be out of there.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough for all Alabama boy, but can't say I feel all that bad for him.
No, I don't either. I'm not a huge Jameis Winston fan. I know our group text isn't fans of Jameis Winston.
Very true.
Everyone calls him a rapist in our group text. I'm the one that has to settle everyone down and say alleged.
Then a crab stealer and
I don't think you can say alleged for that. I think that's
that's pretty. That's pretty obvious. Yeah.
One more thing I kind of wanted to touch up on. The Cincinnati Bengals surprising everybody and off to a 2-0 start and 2 pretty good wins as well. On the road against Indianapolis. No, they were at home. But on the road against Indianapolis and a healthy Andrew Luck, and then beating up on Baltimore, who looked really good week 1, but apparently Buffalo was that bad. But yeah, Cincinnati 2-0, top of the AFC North. I shouldn't say by a considerable margin, but when you look at Pittsburgh, who was the favorite to win the division, they're 0-1-1. That's what I think only a half a game behind, maybe. But
is it, or would it be a game?
I think you get a half a game.
You get half a game for a tie.
Yeah. So I guess it's a game and a half, probably.
Sounds right.
That sounds about right. Yeah, I mean, that's in the NFL. That's considerable because there's only 16 games. This ain't baseball where you can make that up in a week.
You can make a run. That's true. It'll be interesting to watch because I mean Cincinnati. I feel like
they've done this before though. They've gotten hot.
And then they'll lose the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
And we'll see if they can kind of put together a season and keep it going and see what happens. But like you said, the first 2 games with Indy and Baltimore, they put together two good ball games, and whether that means that they were prepared well, executed, whatever it means, the product on the field says that they're a good ball club right now. So I think that watching Cincinnati is going to be interesting, especially as they kind of get into division play. Got to play the Steelers twice. Yep. Obviously, they got the Browns in there, and
This is actually, I think, looking like it's going to be a pretty entertaining division. Obviously, the Bengals off to a 2-0 start. We know what Pittsburgh can do. I'm assuming they're going to bounce back. Baltimore looks okay. They didn't on Thursday, but maybe Cincinnati's just that much better than we thought. And then Cleveland's been competitive against 2 good teams, Pittsburgh and New Orleans.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting Cleveland to hang around in this division, but I think they could pull off some upsets. Especially if Le'Veon Bell doesn't come back.
I think they're going to surprise some people. Cleveland could surprise some folks, win 4 or 5 games, and pick 9th or 10th instead of 1st every year. So, the fighting tie rods up there, they might. Like I said,
I guess that's a win. Picking 9th or 10th instead of 1st. I still think Hugh Jackson's probably out of there. They'll probably win Thursday night. That's a game I think I had them winning in the preseason anyway. But yeah, they'll fire him at some point. I don't think he lasts the year. Do you?
I'm always a proponent of waiting to the end of the year to fire a coach, but with the Browns, who knows?
I actually heard West Virginia's own Mike Florio, who comes on NBC Sports and talks NFL all the time, that the reason, John Dorsey, the GM of the Cleveland Browns, took Baker Mayfield is because he knows who he's going to pick, to be the new head coach anyway, and that coach is he thinks is fine with Baker Mayfield as a starting quarterback. Had me thinking, what if it's Lincoln Riley?
Yeah, when you started to say that, I was like, they could go get Lincoln Riley. Because doesn't Lincoln Riley, does he have an NFL background, or is he just college?
Just college, as far as I know. He's bounced around some Southwest schools, Texas Tech, in the Texas area, but and then he went to East Carolina to be the offensive coordinator, and then Oklahoma.
That would be interesting. They're certainly comfortable with each other. He was the OC and then the head coach.
It's definitely something to think about. I'm not saying as William says. I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
I ain't saying. I'm just saying. I feel you on that.
So that's about all the week 2. There was other stuff that happened, but I know you don't really. Oh, I know. You said you just got into gambling. Let's talk about that. You making any money?
Not yet. We'll get there.
Because you texted me this morning asking about the West Virginia point spread against Kansas State.
So I'm kind of dabbling, I guess. I got some things I'm looking at. I was looking at Cleveland's +3 tomorrow. No, Cleveland's -3 tomorrow against the Jets. So they're the favorite. I was looking at, there's an over-under that really caught my eye. It was Buffalo and Minnesota. The over-under's at 41.
I'd take the under on that.
The over-under's at 41, and I'm thinking that Minnesota might beat it themselves.
Yeah, I know.
So it was intriguing. I probably won't go that route because what really jumps out to me is that Minnesota, in an NFL game, in 2 NFL teams, is a 17-point favorite.
I had 16 on my sheet here.
Wow. I mean, it's true.
No, yeah, but yeah. Oh, 16 and a half. Okay, so yeah, you're at 17. I can see that changing.
Absolutely absurd.
Yeah. But to recap our results from last week, James finished 7-8-1, putting his season record to 15-15-2. I finished 9-6-1, putting my record at 16-14-2. So we are neck and neck. I'm a game ahead of him right now.
There you go.
But he's got me beating college football. But we'll get into that right after this topic, which is Josh Gordon traded to the New England Patriots. I'll be totally honest, I don't even care about this move. And William made such a big deal about it. I feel like Josh Gordon is so irrelevant at this point. I don't care. If he balls out, great for him. I'm cheering for the guy. I hope he does well just because I know what it's like, to struggle with your own personal addictions, I guess. And I hope he gets better. But this dude is irrelevant. Why are we making a big deal about him?
Yeah. I don't know.
I love Josh Gordon. He won me a fantasy football league, 5 years ago when he went off. But it is what it is.
About it. I'm kind of the same way. If he goes and figures this shit out, balls out, we've got Tom Brady throwing him the ball, which will obviously, if he's going to ball out for anybody, that's a pretty good person to go and try and ball out for.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's a very Bill Belichick move.
Yeah.
Find a guy that nobody really wants to touch. Get him in that locker room around those guys and that front office and ownership staff and all that, and do the whole Patriot thing with them. It's worked before; it'll work again. Is probably their mindset. And I did see today on Twitter that Josh Gordon's locker was assigned to him as the locker directly next to Tom Brady's. So
that's no coincidence. That's no coincidence.
So you got to think.
I saw a funny photo. It was last year when the Patriots played the Falcons, and it was at night, and it was really foggy. And I saw something that said New England, once Josh Gordon joined the team, and it just showed all that fog acting like it was smoke.
That's pretty funny.
That is pretty funny. So moving on now to college football, where I hate to do this to you. This was unintentional. But your Auburn Tigers let one slip again to the Tigers of LSU. I got to know your thoughts. I'm sure you're going to have some entertaining takes.
I got plenty. Don't worry. First off, wherever Coach O is hiding the Auburn voodoo doll that he's got shoved somewhere, we need to send a SEAL team in, extract that bad boy, get it out as quickly as we can, burn it at the feet of Toomer's, at the feet of the tree at Toomer's Corner.
The tree memorial on Toomer's?
Yes, shut up.
No, I wasn't making fun of you, honestly.
Get all the bad juju out of it. I don't understand it. But, I mean, realistically, Auburn, the defense, or secondary especially, and I'll talk about the defensive line here in a minute, just played horrible. There were third and longs that everybody in the stadium knew a 7-step slant was coming. They've been running it all day and just gashing us. And lo and behold, Joe Burrow steps in the shotgun, takes a 3-step drop, throws a 7-step slant to the slot receiver. First down, where Auburn was in a great position, had made 2 great plays in the running game, or they had thrown an incomplete pass or whatever, got into a 3rd and long. And I look at my dad, who I sit next to in the games every week, and I say, that slant's coming. Like, it's coming at some point. And lo and behold, it was 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. And here comes that slant. And, it's just it's frustrating as an Auburn fan to see so much potential on a field, have Jarrett Stidham throwing the ball well, although he didn't play a very good game on Saturday, and just squander it away due to bad coaching decisions or putting players in the wrong positions to succeed. Guys not executing plays that were called. It's just, and I've got a lot of takes on the officiating of the game, and I'm never one to blame officials on a game. You win the game between the lines with the players on the field. But if you watch that game and you don't think that the officials at least affected the outcome of the game, there were 2 just heinous pass interference calls against Auburn on LSU's final drive. They're driving down the field. There was the first series, Auburn got into a 3rd and 10, and LSU converted. And then there were 2 consecutive long pass plays that were defended very well by Jamel Dean and Javaris Davis. And the field judge on the Auburn sideline decided to take it into his hands, throw a pass interference, and give LSU 30 yards. And I mean, there's some other calls that I could bring up, but like I said, you win the game with the 22 players on the field, and Auburn they didn't deserve to win the game. They put themselves in a position to win it. By the way, that the defense played up until the last 7 or 8 minutes of the fourth quarter. It's frustrating to watch a team with that much talent lose to a team 2 years in a row that were 2 very winnable games, while your rival is across the state just beating the brakes off of people. So.
Yes, and I know how you feel about the Crimson Tide.
Not great.
I think we all do.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is surprising. This is 2 years in a row now that LSU has come back from I'll say significant deficit to beat Auburn. It was 20-0 last year. What was it this year?
21-10.
21. Okay, that's not that bad.
But on the road,
yeah,
semi-hostile environment. The stadium wasn't hopping like it should have been. It was a 2:30 game in Alabama in September.
And I will say this: LSU fans. I mean, LSU has surprised me. I thought I picked them to lose to Miami. I picked them to lose to Auburn, and they've shown me up both times. This team is obviously talented. I knew that going in, but I just didn't believe the hype that they figured everything out. And to be honest, I still don't think they figured everything out. They're clearly a whole lot better than I thought, but I still don't trust Coach O. I don't even trust Joe Burrow. They're off to a 3-0 start. He's been horrible. He hasn't been good.
Their defense has won them games.
I know. Like usual, LSU's defense wins them the game. The quarterback does nothing.
Yeah. Typical LSU ball.
But yeah, they got away with this one. I still say LSU, and I feel bad for saying it, LSU will probably still lose 3 games this year. They do it every year.
I don't know where they're going to come, but I agree with you. I think they'll lose.
Well, they got Alabama and Georgia. Those are 2 potential losses right there. They got Florida, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. I mean, I could see some losses in there.
And they'll lose a game they're not supposed to.
Yep.
LSU.
A&M looks pretty good. I mean,
that's a staple of LSU seasons where they're not very obviously one of the top teams in the country. So we'll see. I mean, obviously I'm upset. Luckily, we have Arkansas this week, so we might beat them by 80.
LOL. Arkansas.
Arkansas has now lost to not 1 but 2 non-Power 5 teams this year, which hilarious.
I mean, at first your head coach, we knew Arkansas wasn't going to be that good.
Yeah, moving from about as different a system as you can to go to a spread, we knew they weren't going to be good, but I didn't think they'd be this bad. So lucky that we get them kind of coming in after we're kind of licking our wounds, and after a tough physical ball game, we'll get a team that's not very good. Get to kind of rest up. We'll get one more, and then it's in the SEC play, and it's a dogfight. So we'll see how it goes.
After the LSU game last year, Auburn went on a roll and got to the SEC championship. Who knows? Maybe the same thing will happen this year.
It's true, but we do have probably the worst schedule in the country this year. Having to go to Mississippi State, to Ole Miss, which isn't bad, but and then rounding out November at Georgia, Cupcake, at Alabama. So that'll be fun to sit and watch as an Auburn fan, but it's happened before. So I'm not giving up on Auburn in the least bit. There's some Auburn fans that have given up, and we're done. I'm definitely not in that boat.
I'll be honest. I think 9-3. Like I would take that if I was an Auburn fan at this point.
I would. Obviously, 10-2 would be nice. If we can split Georgia and Alabama, I would be very happy with that. You got a couple of tough games and sprinkled in besides those 2 with Mississippi State and Texas A&M. Obviously, we get Tennessee out of the East as well as Georgia, so that's nice. Tennessee gets to come to us. We got Ole Miss, so we'll see. I think 9-3, 10-2, or best case scenario probably 10-2. Probably worst case scenario maybe 8-4. I'd like to kind of see if we can kind of backdoor our way into yet another New Year's Six game, at least the New Year's Day game. One of the bigger ones.
New Year's Day, definitely. At 9-3, yeah.
Outback Bowl or a Gator Bowl. As long as it's not Birmingham or Music City or the Independence Bowl, I'll be fine with it. Like I said, Capital One or Outback or the Gator Bowl maybe. But if we can sneak our way into a Peach Bowl or I'd be pretty happy with that.
So let's get off your Auburn Tigers. I know that's a sore subject for you. The other big upset of the weekend was BYU over Wisconsin. I did not see this coming. Wisconsin was a 23-point favorite.
Yeah.
And I thought BYU would keep it close. That's a team that always keeps games close. They're just scrappy. And they go into Madison and pull off the win. I know my boy Big Cat was very, very upset after the Wisconsin loss.
I would assume he was. It's it's something.
I'll say this: Big Cat had a tough week. The Bears blew it Sunday night against Green Bay. I think the Cubs dropped the series to the Brewers, and then his Badgers lose to BYU after being a 23-point favorite.
Too bad. At least it's left the Tigers. But yeah, it was from obviously I didn't watch the game. They were playing at the same time as Auburn. But from what I was reading, BYU did a really good job against the running game of Wisconsin, which you never see.
Nope.
Especially in an out-of-conference game in Camp Randall. That place is going bonkers, I'm sure. So, I mean, that's a big win for a BYU program. It's really – I've always thought that BYU is one of the most overlooked programs in the country. Yeah. They've got a national championship in the last 30 years. They won a national championship in what was like 1990?
It wasn't like 1940. It was within the last 30 years. Like 84, I think. 88, 80. No, it wasn't 88 because West Virginia was in 88. 84, it had to have been.
Yeah, and that's saying something from a team. That's a small, compared to the other programs and your Blue Bloods. It's a small program, and they put together consistent winning football out of a private Mormon school, and it's always I've always been kind of perplexed by how they can put it together, but good for BYU going there, and that's a statement win. And maybe they're the Group of Five representative this year. Since they're independent, maybe technically they're not, but it'll be interesting to kind of see how BYU.
I think they would still count. Maybe I don't know how it works. I think BYU would still count somehow. I don't know.
Who knows?
Because I know Notre Dame's made a New Year's Six Bowl, and they didn't count as the Group of Five representatives. So.
Because I think Notre Dame has like an exemption of some kind, like if they're top.
It's bullshit, but yeah. Typical Notre Dame.
Notre Dame kind of Notre Dame their way into that one. Yep. It'll be interesting to see. It's they play a tough schedule as an independent. They play. They don't get their cupcakes like a team in a conference does.
Nope.
They play Utah.
They play about like half a really tough schedule. They go out and get like a Pac-12, Big 12. Maybe like an SEC or a Big 10, but they also get like 6 games, that are like Group of Fives, like at least Group of Five, not FCS.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see kind of if this kind of springboards BYU into a really special season. It'll be like I said, they're a team I always enjoy watching because they're a little bit different than your normal team. I remember a couple of years ago they ran the pistol just to perfection. They had a quarterback.
They always have a dude that's like a 6th-year senior at quarterback. Taylor Hill, I think Taylor. Taysom Hill. That's who it was.
Yeah, because they've been on their missions and they're like 25.
Yeah,
and So they got that going for them, I guess. But it's always I feel like BYU is one of those teams that executes their plan, whatever it may be, to perfection. More times than not.
I agree. They're just a very solid program. I shouldn't say they get blown out, but this is the second time this year they've proved me wrong. I think they beat Arizona, and I picked Arizona to win. I picked Wisconsin. They beat Wisconsin. This is a pretty good win for them. How good are they? I don't know. Maybe Wisconsin just didn't show up. I don't know.
Cool.
But yeah, this is a pretty huge win for them, and I'm right there with you. I do think BYU is incredibly overlooked as a program.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really want to talk about Notre Dame. We just trash Notre Dame. I don't really care. I still think Notre Dame's overrated. I said it before the season. Then they kicked the shit out of Michigan, and I still don't buy it. Michigan looked terrible. And here they are, 2 games later. They struggled with Ball State. They struggled with Vanderbilt. I don't mean to trash the SEC, but it's Vanderbilt. It's Vanderbilt. It's not the James Franklin Vanderbilt. It's a new Vanderbilt.
That's true. That's a good point. That's fair.
So I still don't think Notre Dame's any good. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's always tough with Notre Dame because you always think, it's the helmet, it's the tradition, it's they get good ball players in, and recruiting wise, but I just don't know about Brian Kelly. I don't think Brian Kelly's a very good coach.
No, I do think he's a very good coach. Maybe just not enough for Notre Dame. I mean, this dude has won games everywhere he's been. He's even won games at Notre Dame. He took him to a national championship. He's won 10 games, since then.
I don't know if he can win a big game. I'll stop it at that.
Maybe. I'll give you that. Maybe. He took Cincinnati to a BCS Bowl and got beat. He took Notre Dame to a New Year's Six Bowl, essentially the same thing as a BCS Bowl, and got beat. So maybe you have a case there. I don't know. I still think he's a good coach, though. Maybe not for Notre Dame, but who else are you going to get?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
Notre
Dame
is going to get somebody. I don't know. I was shocked Chris Peterson left Boise State for Washington after some of the other programs that were after him. But you never know who you're going to get. I tell that to my friends all the time about WVU. They're like, man, we can't get anybody. I'm like, you don't know who would take the job. But
that's true. I agree.
Yeah. But so more about week 3. In my opinion, it was a strong showing from the Big 12. I don't know what you think. I know you trash the Big 12 all the time. But
they had a good week, for real.
I think
Oklahoma
so too.
State beat the crap out of Boise. Texas beat USC, right?
Pretty badly, yep.
I couldn't stay up and watch the rest of that game. I was so tired.
And then TCU hung around with Ohio State. They ended up getting beat, but they hung around.
Yeah. Overall, a strong showing from the Big 12 in those non-con games, for sure.
And it would have even helped if West Virginia played and potentially beat NC State. But thanks to the whore that is Hurricane Florence, the game got canceled. That slut.
Yeah, what a bitch. Oh, well.
But another thing, Big Ten is awful.
Not great.
No.
Not great.
But you were about to say something. Go ahead.
I was going to say West Virginia. You got to think West Virginia wins that game, don't you? I mean, obviously
I thought we would have. That's a game we usually slip and screw up somehow, but I would have picked us to win. I think we probably would have won. I don't know, though.
Because it was at NC State, right?
Yep. At NC State, they got a decent quarterback. I don't know. I probably would have picked us just because.
I always pick Auburn, so
yeah.
I mean,
I don't see a defense outside of a handful this year that could stop our offense. I really don't.
Yeah, they've got weapons, and Greer is with that.
Especially if we can't run the ball. No, yeah, I think we can be stopped by a fair amount of teams. But if we're running the ball effectively, I don't see an offense or a defense that can stop us outside of Alabama. Your Alabamas, Georgias. I don't know. That's just what I think.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they're high octane, that's for sure. But for real though, the Big 12 did have a great week, and the Big 10 had an equally bad week outside of Ohio State.
Yeah, that conference. I think it's just Ohio State at this point. Wisconsin, they still got the meat of their schedule. I know they got to play, I think, Michigan. They got to play Iowa this week. Northwestern's always tricky. Those aren't
from the other side.
I don't think so. I could be wrong. Maybe they do. They got someone else from the other side, I think, other than Michigan. But yeah, Wisconsin, I don't really know what to expect. This is a bad loss for them. Michigan, I still don't know what to expect. The last meaningful performance I saw from them was against Notre Dame. Who knows? I think it's Ohio State. Don't even get me started on Penn State. I think they're overrated this year, but I just don't buy it. And then Michigan State's been a disappointment too.
Yeah, and I think unless Wisconsin can turn it around, I mean, you gotta hang your hat on Ohio State from that conference. You know, and I'm not 100% sold on Ohio State yet. They're a good ball. They're a good team. They've had some big wins early in the season.
They really haven't played anybody.
I mean, but
Oregon State sucks. Rutgers sucks. The one meaningful game they played was TCU, and they struggled with a TCU team that really I don't think is that good. They play good defense. I don't really think their offense is that good.
This is a year I could see again the Big Ten getting shut out if
Ohio State loses a game. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I don't know about a game. If the Big Ten champ has 2 losses, I don't think they get in.
I think this is another year where you could possibly see a conference getting 2 teams in. I mean,
yeah,
there's 2 in the SEC that are bona fide playoff contenders. Y'all got Alabama and Georgia.
Yeah,
I would put Auburn and LSU is kind of on the fringe, but Auburn is definitely a contender. Like I said, LSU might be a fringe contender right now, but if they keep winning ball games and playing good ball, that's 3-4 teams in the SEC. I think the Big 12 has got a couple of teams. Obviously, Oklahoma is a heavy contender. I think WVU is a contender if they put together a string of wins.
I think not having that 12th game hurts.
It will. The ACC is Clemson or bust.
I'll tell you a team I think could sneakily win. Sneakily, I don't even think that's a word, but I think could win that conference is Virginia Tech. I heard people talking about that today. Their schedule is incredibly easy. I couldn't tell you who all they played, but they beat the shit out of Florida State. They do have to play Miami, but it's in Blacksburg. Yeah, that's a whole nother issue. Is Florida State. But that's a team I think that's going to play Clemson in the ACC championship is Virginia Tech, and I think they could very well win that game. Clemson, I don't think's been that impressive.
Yeah, Clemson's, I wouldn't say they've struggled with the teams they've played because I don't believe they've played much of anybody. They beat the crap out of Citadel, I think, and
they escaped A&M.
Escaped A&M. They did play A&M. I forgot about that. And that was a tough ball game because A&M had that game, had them on the ropes, and Clemson kind of walked out unscathed. But I still think it's their conference to lose, and then you go out to the Pac-12, and I think it's Washington's to lose out there.
I don't know. Stanford's pretty good, but they got to go to Washington this year.
Stanford, but I don't see anybody out of the South.
No, absolutely not.
I think whoever wins it out of the North, whether Stanford or Washington, whoever it is, I think that's your.
I don't even know who wins the Pac-12 South. Maybe USC, and they looked horrible against Texas, who looked horrible against Maryland and Tulsa.
Yeah, man. Maybe Arizona State.
Yeah, I forgot about Arizona State. Yeah,
Utah, maybe.
Could be Utah.
Colorado, maybe. I think that's the.
It's not UCLA. It's not Arizona, likely.
I think that's your most contentious, probably your most contentious Power 5 division. They're not going to be any teams that are world beaters, but whoever comes out of that division, they'll get the pleasure of getting their butt kicked by Washington or Stanford. So college football this year is awfully top heavy. Georgia, Alabama.
I said that going in I had a podcast with our friend Taylor, and I said that going in, I thought this was going to be a very down year for college football. I didn't think the product on the field was going to be that great, and it really doesn't look like it.
Yeah, it hasn't been so far, and I hate it because I love college football.
Well, we're going to enjoy it regardless, but yeah, the product on the field has not been very good.
Let's see, but as much as I hate to say it, Alabama's really freaking good.
See, I think just Tua's. I don't know about Alabama. I think Tua's that great, and everyone's saying this is the best Nick Saban team. I really don't think it is. I just think we're saying that because Tua is the best quarterback he's had.
No, by far.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I think that's the only reason why people are saying that. I don't know. Obviously, I think Alabama's great. I just don't think they're Nick Saban's best team since he's been at Alabama.
I agree. Yeah.
All right. So, wrapping up our college football talk. Until our picks. Recapping our record from last week, James finished 9-3, which brings his overall record this season to 24-12. He is killing it. He actually picked LSU over Auburn. I did not. Last week I finished 6-6, and I'm at 20-16 for the season. I'm 4 games behind James. I can easily make that up, but not off to the best start.
We'll get there.
But let's go ahead and get to our picks with the NFL. Let me find my phone so I can jot yours down, because we like to keep track of our guest picks as well. And right now, my friend Armand has the best record so far for our guests. So, Steven, you got to do better than Armand, who finished. Let me check. If it'll load. I think he finished like 11-5 in the NFL when he picked. He had a good week.
Wow.
And then college, I don't really remember what he did.
Gotcha.
If it'll open. All right. Well, while it's loading, let's go ahead and pick. Tomorrow's game: Jets at the Browns. Here it is. Hang on. It just popped up.
Perfect.
Armand finished 9-3 in college when he picked. That's the best we've had. And then 10-5-1 in NFL. So you got to do better than Armand.
Bring it on.
All right. So Thursday night game, Jets at the Browns. Browns are a 3-point favorite.
Give me Cleveland.
Cleveland.
Give me Cleveland.
Yeah, I like Cleveland as well. I think this is like the third game in 10 days for the Jets. Sam Darnold, I think, is pretty good, but it's his rookie year. I think he's going to have his ups and downs, and this is going to be one of his downs. Packers at the Redskins. Packers are a 3-point favorite.
Give me the Pack to cover and straight up.
Ooh, cover, you say?
Over.
I don't know about cover. I probably wouldn't take to cover. I'm taking Green Bay. Washington doesn't run the ball very well, and the last time Aaron Rodgers and Alex Smith were on the same field, it was a walloping. I'll take my Packers as well. Colts at the Eagles. Eagles are a 6.5-point favorite.
Carson Wentz playing?
Carson Wentz is playing.
Carson Wentz is playing? Give me the Eagles. I'm actually going to take the Colts to cover, though.
Yeah, that seems like a large margin for a Colts team that hasn't really looked bad. And Andrew Luck's played pretty well. I think I'll take the same. I'll take the Eagles to win, but Colts keep it close.
Colts. I'll take the Colts plus 6.5. But the Eagles will win by 3 or 4.
Yeah, I think so too. Bills at the Vikings. This is the game we were just talking about earlier. Bills at the Vikings. Vikings at 16.5-point favorite. Apparently that's up to 17 now.
Yeah, my line's at 17. Give me the Vikings all day.
Yeah, I think so too. They're gonna
beat them by 100.
I have a bad feeling about. I love Josh Allen. DraftJoshAllen.com.
DraftJoshAllen.com.
But he's gonna have a hard day against that defense, I think.
They are ridiculous, and those people are going to be all jacked up to beat the crap out of a team that is god awful.
Yeah, I think so too. Raiders at the Dolphins. Raiders traveling across the country. Dolphins are a 3-point favorite.
Yeah, the cross-country travel for me is the biggest thing. Oh, I love Marshawn, but give me the Dolphins. I would probably take Raiders to cover, but give me the Dolphins straight up. That cross-country, because that game's at 12, right?
Your time, yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, give me the Dolphins minus the 3, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going with the Dolphins as well. The Raiders don't look good. And I love me some John Gruden, but he's off to a bad start. It all started when they traded Khalil Mack. Or no, it started before then, and the nail in the coffin was trading Khalil Mack. I like the Dolphins to win, probably, and to cover. West Coast teams going to the East Coast, early kickoff, that rarely ever pans out.
Yeah, I haven't quite decided whether I think that I think the Raiders are going to cover yet. But I do think the Dolphins will win the game.
Yeah, I think so too. Broncos, another West Coast team traveling to the East Coast. Broncos at the Ravens. Ravens are a 5.5-point favorite. and we'll have had 10 days to prepare.
Days, yeah, that because they played on Thursday last week. Give me the Ravens straight up.
Interesting.
I don't have any confidence in the Broncos offense.
Yeah, they've played Seattle, who's looked horrible, and the Raiders, who have looked horrible. So
I just don't. Yeah, give me the Ravens straight up.
I'll go with the Ravens as well. 10 days to prepare. They got the better coach, maybe the better defense as well. I like the Ravens as well. I don't know about the cover, but I'll take them straight up for sure. Bengals at your Carolina Panthers. Panthers are a 3-point favorite.
Yeah. See, the Bengals that we talked about have been playing really good ball.
Who also have 10 days to prepare.
I don't like to pick against people who I consider to be my teams. I feel like that's that's against rooting interests. So I will pick Cam and the Panthers. They did lose last week to Atlanta in a game that, for all intents, was probably a winnable game. I will take the Panthers to give Cincinnati their first loss.
Okay.
I think the Bengals will cover. I think the Bengals will cover, but give me the Panthers. I'll take the Bengals +3, but Panthers win straight up.
I'm kind of all in on the Bengals right now. Not all in, but I'm hopping on their bandwagon a little bit. I'm going with the Bengals. 10 days to prepare. They're playing really well. That defense is playing really well. And my feelings about Cam Newton. I don't really trust him.
I know you don't. You'll see the light one day, Shane.
I saw the light one year. I was the one pounding the table for him to get MVP that year.
Yeah, that you were. That's true.
Giants at the Texans. Texans are a 6-point favorite.
Thanks.
Both 0-2.
Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, Deshaun Watson has not looked all that good.
Nope.
I'll take the Texans straight up. Giants cover.
I like the Texans as well. Giants they haven't even cracked 20 points in 2 games. Combined they have, but they've scored 15 and 13 in 2 weeks. And we all thought they would be better offensively, and they really haven't been. I think Houston wins. I think this will be their first game at home. So I'll take the Texans to win. I think Deshaun Watson bounces back. Titans at the Jags. This is actually surprising. I thought I read it wrong, but the Jaguars are just a 1-point favorite.
Yeah, hopping all over the Jags.
Yeah.
They're coming off a big win, so they'll be all pumped up to play in the Dirty Duve. And I think that's a big I don't want to say it could be a trap game for them, but
I will say this. This is the Jags finished 10-6 last year. 2 of their 6 losses were to the Titans, so they got swept by the Titans last year.
Yeah, so I'm hopping all over the Jags here. I think they're coming off of a high, beating the Pats. So give me the Jags, obviously, to cover the 1 and win straight up.
Yeah, the 1 point. This feels like an easy cover to me for the Jags. I'm going to take the Jags as well and to cover. It's just 1 point. But I will say don't sleep on Tennessee just for the reason I just said. They struggled with them last year. And maybe they have a little bit of a hangover after, getting the best of New England at home.
We'll see, but it's really more the line than anything. That -1 jumps out to me as a little fishy.
Yeah, I think so. Same with me. 49ers at the Chiefs. Chiefs are a 6.5-point favorite.
Give me the Chiefs straight up.
Yeah. I'm all in on Mahomes. I'm going with the Chiefs as well.
Homies.
I don't think they'll cover. San Francisco's got a decent defense. I'll give the 49ers. I don't know how you say it, but I think the 49ers cover, but the Chiefs win. This is actually a game I want to watch. Chargers at the Rams, battle in LA. Rams are a 7-point favorite.
What? I'm not 100%. I know that everybody is pumped up about the Rams. Deservingly so. Not 100% sold on them yet. I know their defense is ridiculous with Donald and Sue and whomever else is out there.
Excellent use of whomever. I had one of my friends here in West Virginia use whilst, and I was like, excellent use of the word whilst.
Love it. I think the Rams win. I'm not, like I said, I'm not 100% sold on them yet. I haven't watched them yet.
Yeah, I haven't either.
I'm trying to stay away from the Rams for as long as possible because of what they did to the city of St. Louis. But it's going to be difficult because they're going to be a good team with Goff and Gurley and Cooper Kupp and the defense with Donald and Sue and all those guys. Give me the Chargers cover, but the Rams win.
I'm actually in the same exact boat as you. I'm not as high on the Rams as everyone else. I do think there are some gaping holes, especially defensively at linebacker and edge rusher. But they ought to win this game. Lord knows they're talented offensively. Sean McVay, knows how to call plays. I think they're just humming right now. Chargers are coming back from a long road trip from Buffalo. Could make a difference. I think it's going to be a close game. I think the Chargers cover, but I'll take the Rams straight up.
About 6. I'm called out.
Cowboys at the Seahawks. This is one I can't figure out. Seahawks are a 1.5 point favorite.
So I actually have this as a pick. My line is a pick 'em. They're straight up. So what the hell is going on there? Seahawks are not the Seahawks of the past at all.
And they got some injuries defensively. I know Bobby Wagner missed last week. I felt like somebody else missed last week. I couldn't tell you who, but Bobby Wagner was one of them.
I could not.
Oh, Doug Baldwin, wide receiver. He doesn't play defense, but
I could not even begin to try and rationalize a pick on this. So give me. Are we playing it at the 1.5, or are we playing it at the pick 'em?
Honestly, this is just straight up. It doesn't even matter about the point spread.
Give me the Cowboys
to win outright.
Win outright.
Gosh, see, I want to do that because I don't like Seattle this year, but I'm having a tough time picking them to go 0-3. Just I feel like this team, they still got Russell Wilson, they still got some talent. They got Pete Carroll, I think's a good coach, but
can't figure them out yet.
It's their first game at home.
I don't like picking them to go 0-3 either.
Yeah,
it may be recency bias. It may be whatever it may be. I just don't like them this year. They're not the same team as they have been in the past.
No, they're horrible.
And I think they're due for a down year. And I think that year is this year. So give me the Cowboys. I don't like the pick. Like I said, I've got the line as a pick 'em, so I'm not going to touch it either way. But give me the Cowboys, and maybe Zeke can find some lanes, and Dak can not suck. I don't know. Like I said, I can't even begin to rationalize a pick on this game because it's just so. I don't like either team particularly well, and just a weird a weird game.
Yeah, I just said I didn't want to pick the Seattle Seahawks to go 0-3, but their offensive line is atrocious. I mean, it's just hard to watch Russell Wilson back there, man. I love Russell Wilson. And Dallas's front seven is, I think, actually pretty underrated. I think they can get after their offensive line, make some plays, and sack Russell Wilson. I'm going to take the Cowboys as well, but I'm not confident in it whatsoever. You froze on me a little bit, so that's why I paused here.
Making a pick for Cardinals?
Yeah, no, I am. You froze on me, so it made me stop.
I got you.
Okay. Yeah, Bears at the Cardinals. Bears are a 6-point favorite.
Give me Chicago. Trubisky has played well enough to win. Well enough.
Well enough is the best word.
Yeah. But Khalil Mack is an absolute difference maker.
Yeah. And then Arizona's offensive line is bad. It's been bad.
They're an atrocious team to begin with. And Arizona's not going to be very good this year on my estimation. So yeah, give me the Bears. Hell, I think they cover. I think they beat them by 13 or so.
I don't like picking a road team to cover, but I think I'm in the same boat as you. I'm going to take the Bears to win. But the Cardinals, I know they got shut out last week, and then they got beat, I want to say pretty bad the week before. They just don't look good. Bad offensive line. I think Khalil Mack just has a field day. I mean, he had a field day the last 2 weeks, and Green Bay has a pretty good offensive line.
Kid in the candy shop.
I'm going with the Bears as well. Patriots at the Lions. Kind of interesting. Matt Patricia, former Bill Belichick assistant. Patriots on the road. Who you got?
Patriots.
Yeah.
All day.
I'll take the Patriots as well. Coming off a loss.
We just said we don't like to pick road teams to cover, but we just did it twice in a row. So
yeah, the Lions don't look very good.
No, they don't. I hate it for KJ, my boy KJ.
I don't even think he's played.
I don't even think he has either, which I'm not super upset about because he would probably get his head taken off. But yeah, give me the Patriots. They're going to be mad. Belichick does not like to lose, and they might take it out on his poor old assistant.
Yeah, Detroit doesn't have a very good front seven. I think they struggle to get to Brady. Steelers, the Monday night game. Steelers at the Bucks. Steelers are right now a 1-point favorite. That might have changed since then. I was a little surprised.
I am hammering Tampa. I think this is a easy money game for your degenerate gamblers that I may or may not be turning into. We'll see. I think Tampa +1 is a great pick. At home, Monday night, with Fitz playing the way he's playing.
Fitz magic.
And Pittsburgh looking not great in their two games.
Yeah, they're especially on defense. That secondary has played poorly.
I think you hammered Tampa Bay right here.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I'm going to go with Tampa Bay. Like I just said, the Steelers' defense has been bad. Their secondary has been worse. And Fitzmagic has been slinging it, playing well. They got weapons on the perimeter. I'm going to take the Bucks to win, obviously, and that's to cover. But I won't be shocked if they win by a couple possessions.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, unless Le'Veon Bell just magically shows up and balls out, which isn't going to happen. Nope. Give me the Bucks.
Saints at the Falcons. Falcons are a 3-point favorite.
This one, I was a little torn on until I remembered that the Saints almost lost to the Browns last week, and I didn't see them play week 1, but I can't remember what happened. But I will take the Falcons minus the 3. This one was a tough one for me though because I love Drew Brees. Big fan of Drew Brees, and the way he's picked apart defenses for the past 10 years, but give me the Falcons. I'm not super confident with the pick, but I'll take Atlanta minus the 3.
I'm gonna go in the other direction. I'm gonna take the Saints over the Falcons. Not too confident in it, but the Falcons have a ton of injuries right now. Keanu Neal is banged up. Deion Jones is banged up. Someone just got hurt offensively. I think one of their starting offensive linemen's out for the year. I think Devontae Freeman's hurt because I saw Tevin Coleman a lot last week.
Freeman is hurt.
Yeah, so I think the Saints are healthier and they get it done.
Coleman put together a good game against.
Yeah, I know. He's pretty good.
Good, not great, but good Panthers defense. So, like I said, I'm not super confident in my Atlanta pick, but I'll take Atlanta.
Yeah, that's how I feel about the Saints. I don't hate it, but I feel like they're the healthier team, and they have the better quarterback.
Right.
So college football now. Let's start in the SEC. Number 2, Georgia at Missouri. Dogs are a 14-point favorite.
Missouri will surprise somebody at some point. Not going to be this weekend. Georgia's very good. Give me the Dogs.
And didn't Missouri kind of sneak up on them last year? Georgia won the game, but I think Missouri hung around with them for a while.
Yeah, they hung around for way longer than they should have in Athens. So I think Kirby will be ready for it.
Yeah.
Missouri's got a good offense. They got probably the best maybe, top 2, if not the best quarterback in the league. And his name is
Drew Lock.
Drew Lock, that's it. I was trying to say Matty Monk, but he's been gone for a while.
No, not
Drew Lock.
Didn't Matty Monk the one with the cocaine addiction or something?
I think so. Yeah. Great. With Drew Lock, he's quietly one of the best quarterbacks in the conference. But Georgia's defense is a bit ridiculous, and the offense is good too. So yeah, give me the Dogs.
Yeah, I'm taking the Dogs as well, and to cover. I think they win. I don't want to say about 4 touchdowns. I'll say about like 17.
Yeah, I don't know too much about Missouri's defense, which in the SEC tells me that it's probably not very good.
Yeah. Probably okay. Who knows?
Maybe.
Number 8 Notre Dame at Wake Forest, Fighting Irish, a 7.5-point favorite.
Yikes! So I mean, we bashed Notre Dame, deservedly so, in our takes at least. I don't see him losing to Wake. Wake put together an okay performance.
Wake is tricky. They're all right. They got a decent quarterback.
Put together an okay performance against Boston College in that game that was moved up. Give me Notre Dame, but it wouldn't surprise me if Wake kept it real close for a real long time, maybe even covered the 7.5. Notre Dame wins by a field goal or by 4.
Yeah.
Would not surprise me at all. But give me Notre Dame. Not super confident.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I've pulled the trigger on some upsets this year, and I've paid for it. I've got some right, but most of them have been wrong. So I'm not going to pull the trigger here. I'm going to go with Notre Dame. I think they're the slightly better team, but I will take those Demon Deacons to cover. I think Notre Dame, again, just kind of sneaks out and gets a win.
I agree.
Here we go. Kansas State at number 12, West Virginia. West Virginia is a 16-point favorite. That line seems ridiculous to me. This is, I think, I saw my boss tweet that this is the first time West Virginia has been a double-digit opponent since joining the Big 12 when they're against a team that was not Kansas. So, very surprising to me.
Yeah. Kansas is another one of those teams, or Kansas State, definitely not Kansas.
No.
It's another one of those teams, kind of like BYU, who is a little overlooked when they are good.
But when they're bad,
they're
bad.
Shellacked by Mississippi State in Manhattan at home. I love Bill Snyder.
Yeah.
Bill Snyder's a great coach. Does more with less than I think any coach in the country.
Yeah.
Outside of
he's the most underrated coach in college football history.
Yes, I mean outside of maybe like Ken Niumatalolo at Navy,
yeah.
or trying to think of some other people. Maybe Derek Mason at Vandy. I think he does the most with the least of any coach in the Power Five. Then that line, I was looking at it today, and like you said, I texted you about it. And then I remembered, man, Mississippi State has a decent, at best, offense. They got a good quarterback. I don't know a lot about their running backs or their receivers, which means, they're middle of the pack in the SEC. West Virginia's got a good offense, great offense, and I don't know that Kansas State can stop them. Like you were talking about, there's a small number of teams that we both think in the entire country that could stop West Virginia's offense. I don't think Kansas State is one of those teams. The line intrigues me because of my respect for Kansas State, but give me West Virginia minus the 16.
Oh wow, you're picking us to win and to cover.
Yeah.
I am not. No.
I'm not confident in the cover, but I'm confident in the win.
Yeah.
I'm not super confident in the cover, but give me West Virginia. I'll go minus the 16 because I've got some other sneaky covers. Maybe a backdoor cover here or there.
I think we ought to win this game. If you knew West Virginia's, I said it to y'all this morning, if you knew West Virginia's history with Kansas State, you probably would reconsider.
Right.
When they joined the Big 12, Kansas State shellacked us in Morgantown. The next year, they shellacked us in Manhattan. The next year, they came into Morgantown. We should have won the game. They bested us again. Then the next year, we go out to Manhattan, led the entire game. They take a lead in the late fourth quarter, and we can't bounce back. The last, 4 meetings with these two teams have ended in a one-possession game. 26-20, 24-23, 17-16, 28-23. It's going to be a dogfight. And this is a team West Virginia struggles with. They don't play well against Kansas State and Bill Snyder. Bill Snyder always has a bag of tricks, whether it's getting turnovers, a special teams miscue, or causing a special teams miscue. But like you said, I don't think Kansas State can stop our offense. I don't think they'll be able to hang with our offense. I know they run the ball well. We don't really stop the run that well, but you got to throw the ball at some point. And I think we ought to be able to defend that. So I'm going to take the Mountaineers, but I think Kansas State covers.
Yeah, I played with that.
One more thing, we do have extra time to prepare because we didn't play last week. So there's also that.
Yeah. It kind of bounced around in my head all day. Whether or not I wanted to take Kansas State plus the 16.5. But in the end, I think this game might turn into a bit of a track meet, and Kansas State does not have the sprinters to compete with West Virginia. So
don't
give it the years.
You fucking start that shit with the Virginia nonsense. Don't
That's
start that.
That's my
bad. Number 22, A&M at number 1, Alabama. Alabama a 26-point favorite. I have a feeling who you're going to take, and it's going to shock the world. Oh, I thought you were going to pull the trigger on A&M. And you said that through clenched teeth. You don't even have anything to say.
No, I don't want to talk about it. I hate it.
All right, I'll move on. Number 3, Clemson at Georgia Tech. Clemson, a 16.5-point favorite.
Taking Tech plus the 16.
Not to win outright, though.
Not to win outright. Okay. Give me Clemson win outright. I'm taking Tech plus the 16.5, though. I think, like you said, Clemson hasn't looked as dominating as they should have in some games. Obviously, that front four is absolutely ridiculous. 4 first-round talents on the defensive line. But Paul Johnson and his triple option attack
always tricky.
Feast on over-aggressive defensive lines. I think they can have some success. Obviously, they're not as talented as Clemson. I think Clemson's going to win. But this is my sneaky cover. A lot of people are picking Clemson to blow out Georgia Tech. This is my sneaky cover. I think Georgia Tech covers the 16.5. It's in Atlanta. Bobby Dodd at times can get a little bit rowdy. So they'll have a little bit of a home environment, kind of playing with that triple option. I think Tech. I don't know if they can stop. I don't know a whole lot about Tech's defense, but I think the option. They call it the great equalizer for a reason. I think Tech can keep it close. I think they cover the 16.5.
I got to be honest. I think what you just said really intrigues me. I'm leaning toward Georgia Tech covering this game, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to take Clemson to win and to cover. That's not to say I think they're going to win by 4 touchdowns. I think it could be a dogfight, and Clemson kind of pulls away late in the game. But Georgia Tech lost to Pitt, man. I don't trust anyone that loses to Pitt.
Not great.
Yeah. I'm taking Clemson to win and to cover, but I don't think it'll be by a ton. Maybe 18, 20 points.
Yeah.
This one is interesting. I think you possibly picked an upset this morning in our group text, but South Carolina at Vanderbilt. Gamecocks a 2-point favorite.
This was intriguing. South Carolina hasn't looked as good as people thought they were going to look. They kind of thought people were picking them to keep it close with Georgia, and they got butt raced. Mm-hmm. So, this one's tough.
And how does Vandy bounce back after kind of a disappointing loss to Notre Dame?
Yeah, I really like Ted Bentley. He's a local kid. He's from Opelika, down by Auburn. I watched him play in high school. I went to a couple of high school games out there, and he's a good quarterback. Debo Samuel's a really exciting offensive player for South Carolina. I don't know. Kyle Shermer's a good quarterback at Vandy. He doesn't have any weapons to speak of. Vandy, they're going to have an okay defense. Derek Mason's a good defensive coach. This one's tough. Give me the Gamecocks. I'm not super confident in it, but give me South Carolina minus the 2. And but this is one that, again, I'm just not super confident in.
I'm not either. Gosh. Like you said, we expected a lot from South Carolina this year, and Jake Bentley can sling it at times. He's got some weapons. I hate doing it because I hate what's his name? Muschamp as a coach. I think he's an overrated coach. But yeah. Gamecocks have the athletes. I just think Vanderbilt's going to struggle to hang around.
Yeah.
I say South Carolina by a touchdown. Though I think they cover that 2 points, but it's still going to be a very close game.
Yeah, and I think it's a low-scoring game. I think it's a 17-13 or a 20-13, 20-14, 17-10. Yep. I don't think this is a game where a lot of points are scored. I think it's an good old-fashioned SEC kind of not a slobber knocker where it's Alabama LSU or Auburn LSU or Alabama Georgia, but it's a defensive game because Muschamp, as quirky and ridiculous as he is, he's a good defensive coach. Yep. He was a good defensive coordinator. I just don't know about either offense. So, like I said, give me South Carolina minus the 2. Not super confident.
I'm not either. Where was I? TCU at Texas. This one, either I read it wrong early in the week, or the line has quickly shifted to TCU because I thought I read Texas opened as a 3-point favorite, and now it's TCU is a 3-point favorite within the week. So I don't know. I could be totally wrong, but I'm glad to see that line now in TCU's favor because I thought it was ridiculous. It was possibly in Texas's favor. But I'm curious. Since you're looking that up, I guess I'll go ahead and give my pick. I'm going to take the Horned Frogs. I have to see it to believe it from Texas, even though they just beat the snot out of USC. I got to see more consistency. For all we know, maybe Tom Herman had that game circled all offseason. But I'm going to take the Horned Frogs. Disappointing loss to LSU to Ohio State. I think Gary Patterson's the better coach. He'll have them bounce back, ready to go.
Yeah, I don't know. Like you said, I agree with you. I think I have to see it from Texas. I'm not 1,000% not sold on USC. I've got Texas now at -4, or TCU. I mean,
at -4.
So it's going up a point. Yeah, give me the Horned Frogs. Kind of a bounce back week for them, like you said, after somewhat disappointing, where they stuck around with Ohio State. Ohio State kind of pulled away at the end, but like you said, I don't believe in Texas, and I won't believe in Texas until I see it. So give me TCU. Texas might be jacked up for this game. Who knows? Tom Herman might have some tricks up his sleeves. But like you said, I have to see it to believe it from Texas. So give me Texas Christian.
Mississippi State. This one I think was the one you commented on this morning. Mississippi State at Kentucky. Bulldogs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why did I blank on that? Bulldogs are a 10-point favorite. I wanted to go Wildcats, but I was like, they're not the Wildcats. That's Kentucky.
Kentucky's the Wildcats.
I was like, they're a dog, right?
Kentucky has put together some good ball games so far this year. Went down to the Swamp and beat a Florida team that might not be very good, but it's the first time in 33 years that a Kentucky team has beat Florida. And Kentucky, if I'm not mistaken, Kentucky is 3-0. They haven't played nobody, right. But I think this might be a game that Kentucky has circled. So I'm taking Kentucky plus the 10. Whether or not they win outright, I haven't really decided yet. But I'm taking them plus the 10 at home. Commonwealth is a really underrated place to watch a ball game when Kentucky is jacked up. When the fans are all bought in. I went 2015. Yeah, it was on fall break. Auburn went up there with a team that was bad, and Kentucky was jacked up to play that game. Auburn escaped with a win, but it was a sneaky tough place to play. So I think this is a game that Kentucky, and like you said, I talked about it this morning. Kentucky has a good running game. Mississippi State has a good front seven. I'm not sold on Nick Fitzgerald. I never have been. I think he's one-dimensional. So give me Kentucky plus the 10.
Interesting. I'm going with Mississippi State for the reason kind of you just said. That front seven's really talented. They got some dudes that are probably going to go early in the draft. And I think they're going to neutralize Kentucky's run game. I like the Bulldogs to win. 50-50 on whether or not they're going to cover. I'll say no. I'll say no. Texas Tech at Oklahoma State. Cowboys are a 14-point favorite, and last I checked, the over-under of that game was like 77.
Yeah, let's Let's see that. That I'm very intrigued in. It is 78.5.
78.5. Holy crap!
Uh,
I'd take the over.
What's this going to be? An absolute shootout.
Yeah, gonna be a try.
Classic Big 12 football game. And I'm hopping all over the Pokes. And they're coming off of a big win that a lot of people thought was going to be a tough game.
Yep.
I didn't watch a whole lot of it. Obviously, I was in the stadium, but I think the Pokes are jacked up. I think Texas Tech is gonna feel the wrath of that offense and Gundy at full mullet force.
Yeah, Texas Tech going into the season, there was talk this should be Texas Tech's best defense in quite a while. I believed the hype. I was like, this team could be sneaky good, and the defense has not been very good. It's been terrible as usual. So I don't think they're going to be able to keep up with Oklahoma State. I'm taking the Cowboys as well. Gundy's the better coach. Like you said, they might be. I think they're even jacked up. After that big win, they know they have a stretch here now where they can get out to a 8-0 start or something. I forget what the schedule looked like, but there's a possibility that can happen. But yeah, give me the Pokes.
Great hair matchup.
Yeah.
With Kingsbury and Gundy.
This might be huge for Kingsbury.
Cliff the pretty boy and Gundy the working man. Great hair matchup.
Yeah. Florida at Tennessee. Gators are a 4.5-point favorite.
Yikes. Both of these teams are bad. Florida's not quite as bad as Tennessee. Felipe Franks is a better quarterback. Dan Mullen is a better coach. Give me Florida. Give me Florida minus the 4.5.
I think I'm with you. Tennessee's a mess. Tennessee's a mess.
Hot garbage.
They really haven't improved either.
We even with the Pruitt connection that we have, you have obviously a little bit more than me, but
I didn't know him that well.
Yeah, at least you played while he was there, I guess.
They hired obviously Jeremy Pruitt used to be at our high school defensive coordinator, coached at Alabama, Florida State, Georgia. Now the head coach of Tennessee. He even hired the defensive coordinator from Hoover when I was there, Kevin Scher.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. And I remember when I was watching them play West Virginia, he tried a corner blitz on Will Greer, and I was like, oh, no, what are you doing? And Greer just saw it, threw it right over the safety's head, touchdown. I was like, oh, that was an awful call. What are you doing?
He did hire Coach Miles, though, which I liked.
Coach Miles.
Myra Miles, Coach Miles.
Oh, she's there now?
Yeah, yeah.
She's the athletic director? Oh, I was about to say. No, that's Phil Fulmer. Yeah, that's right.
She's like, I think she runs his office, maybe. Like,
interesting.
Yeah, good for her.
Starting a Hoover pipeline up there. But yeah, I'm going with the Gators. Tennessee's a mess.
Yeah. Hot garbage.
This one's interesting. Wisconsin at Iowa. Badgers are -3.
Iowa City seems like they're always a trap for teams that should come in there and shellac Iowa.
Yep.
They more oftentimes than not and leave town with an L. I think Wisconsin. I don't know a lot about Iowa this year. I know they lost some talent from the past couple of years on the defensive side. Wisconsin's got to get some stuff figured out. I think Wisconsin will win, but it really would not surprise me if Iowa pulled yet another upset in Iowa City. But give me the Badgers -3. Wisconsin at some point will figure out how to run the ball. That's their bread and butter. So give me Wisconsin. I'm not super confident about it, but give me Wisconsin.
Yeah, like you said, Iowa is a very tough place to play. I'll be honest, I got half a mind to pick the Hawkeyes here. They upset. No, I'm wrong. They almost upset Penn State last year until Chase McSorley scored a last-second touchdown. They upset Michigan the year before that. This place is known to get up for the night games, and it's a very tough place to play. The pink locker room, or the pink guest locker room.
Yeah, hilarious.
Yeah, I love it. Honestly, I love that.
Yeah.
I got half a mind to pick Iowa because they match up very well with Wisconsin. They're essentially the same team, different colors. They run the ball well. They play great defense. They emphasize in the trenches. They got a good coach, I think, Kirk Ferentz.
Ferentz is a good coach.
Yeah, good coach. I'm so close to picking Iowa. I'm not gonna do it though. I'm not gonna overreact. I'm gonna take the Badgers. I do think they bounce back. What was that?
No, I didn't say anything.
Oh, that must have been me then.
I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Badgers, but like you, I'm not very confident in it.
I'm not confident in it at all. It would not surprise me in the least bit for Iowa to pull the upset. I mean, it's 3 points, but they're an unranked team over a ranked team. I guess technically.
Honestly, this might be my pick of the week, where this is like my least confident pick of the week.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. This is just it's especially with the way things have recently gone with ranked teams coming into Iowa City, man. It's a tough pick, like you said. I don't think either of us are very confident in our Badgers pick.
Nope, I'm not. But game of the week. I'm not even sure if College Game Day is there. I didn't even check and see where they are this year or this week.
I think they are.
They are.
Yeah.
But number 7 Stanford at number 20 Oregon. Stanford is a 1.5 point favorite on the road. I don't know about you. I think I'm going to hammer that Stanford line. 1.5? That's it? Oregon's okay, but
it's tricky. This is a fishy line for me. Oregon at night, the zoo's going to be going wacko. Herbert's a good quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't know a whole lot about anybody else in Oregon because I can't stay up that late to watch games anymore.
The NFL scouts like him.
Yeah. Stanford, though, calling card is playing solid defense under David Shaw. Running the ball, though, I don't know if Bryce Love is going to play. He didn't play last week against UC Davis. I don't know a whole lot about it. I think Costello is still the quarterback.
He's all right, yeah.
He's no Andrew Luck, but he's serviceable. As a Stanford quarterback, he's more of a game manager type than Luck or even that Hogan kid was. I'm going to take Stanford minus the 1.5. I'm not super confident in it. I'm more confident in Stanford than I am in Wisconsin, just because I think that Stanford's defense can win games for them. But it would not surprise me to see Oregon win this ballgame, especially at home, at night. College Game Day's there. The place is going to be going absolutely insane. So this one will be a fun game to watch.
Yeah,
I think it'll be a dog fight because I think, like you said, Oregon's going to get their points.
This is a big game for Oregon. I mean, we were just talking about how we think the Pac-12's down to Washington and Stanford. Well, Oregon's in that division too. I think they get both of those teams at home too. This is big for them to try to step up.
If they win this game, you've got to put Oregon in that conversation now. They firmly belong. If they win this game, they firmly belong in the conversation with Washington and Stanford. So I'm not going to pick them, but like I said, it wouldn't surprise me with all the variables going around Eugene on Saturday. If Oregon's winning, I'm going to pick Stanford just because I like David Shaw. I think he's a great coach. I think the defense will step up, make some plays when they need to, keep Oregon out of the end zone, or even hold them to 3 at a crucial time when Oregon needs a touchdown or something like that. So give me Stanford minus the 1.5. But I think it will be close. It may even be like a 1-point game.
Yeah, I'm taking Stanford as well, and I'm gonna assume Bryce Love is playing since they sat him out last week. I think they're just trying to get him healthy for this game.
Yeah.
Costello, good quarterback. David Shaw's the better coach. Stanford's always a tough team, physically tough. I think, assuming Love is going to play, I think Oregon's going to have a hard time stopping the run. So I'm going to take the Cardinal, not by a lot though. I think the Ducks hang around. I say I say Stanford wins by 8 or 9. I think it's a close game up until the end.
Mm-hmm.
Well, those are our picks. Hang on, I forgot to type in your Stanford pick. All right, so those are our picks for the week. We don't really have a ton else to talk about. One thing I did want to mention, Captain Marvel trailer dropped yesterday, I believe.
Yep.
Beyond my expectations. Very intriguing trailer, if I do say so myself.
I'm not a big trailer guy. Usually, obviously, with Marvel, it's a little different.
Yeah.
They are far and away the best film company in the world. I mean, it's super intriguing. Obviously, this will be the first female-led Marvel movie. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Will be, because Black Panther doesn't have one, or Black Widow. I mean.
She's supposed to be getting hers, but it's going to be after Captain Marvel.
Yeah. So, and Captain Marvel will be super interesting because it's the last movie before Avengers 4.
Which we could spend a whole nother podcast on that.
Oh yeah, God sakes. But and Brie Larson is a total babe.
Yeah, I always thought she was attractive, and then for whatever reason, like, I wasn't crazy about her in this role. I was like, you got to have a girl that's super smoking hot, like Scarlett Johansson in these type of roles. Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I just didn't. I wasn't sure, and then I saw the trailer. I saw her. I'm like, yeah, she's fine.
I'm bought in.
I'm all the way in now.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. I'm not caught up right now. I got to watch Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Ant-Man and the Wasp was pretty good. It was all right. It was fine.
I haven't seen it yet, but
it wasn't. I mean, the first one wasn't spectacular. I think it was above expectations for everybody. When a movie's called Ant-Man, you don't really know what to expect, and it wasn't horrible. I enjoyed it, and then I enjoyed the sequel.
Yeah. So we'll see. But like I said, I think Captain Marvel, along with being the first female-led film in the MCU. I think it'll be interesting because I know Nick Fury and Bill Coulson are both in the movie because it's set in like the late 80s, 90s.
Yeah, I saw a meme. It said like Captain Marvel going to be set in the 90s, and then it said like, how 90s are we talking? And then the very first shot's a blockbuster.
Oh, that'll be good. Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting, especially, like I said, since it's the last one before Captain Marvel.
I mentioned this to you. I really hope, but I feel like it's leading toward this where she's going to come in, she's going to dominate the Avengers, and she's going to be the one to kill Thanos. I just don't like that. I just started to know you, woman. I don't know you that well.
I wasn't huge into the comics growing up, but as the movies have kind of come out and I've gotten into the movies, I've at least started learning a little bit about the comics. Apparently, Captain Marvel is like the strongest superhero almost in Marvel. It's the Hulk, it's Thor, and then Captain Marvel's like right up there with those two, and then Adam Warlock. Who we saw
has not made an appearance
in a post credit scene in
Guardians, yeah, he has.
In his nest, but it's it'll be interesting to see kind of how like you said how